are live. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Rumble on Rumble, and we are back. Pew, 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 pew. I am your co host. Oh, yeah. I am your host, FW Mike on Twitter. Some call me Fresh, some call me White, some call me Fresh White Mike. I don't disagree with any of them, and we are excited. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to bring you my co-host. I'm going to introduce the man with the plan. He's got all kinds of cool stuff to tell us about this week. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Protocol.
What to do, world, man? Your boy Protocol checking in, man. Glad to see you. Glad to be back. One of the numbers, standing vertical, having a moment to kick some ass alongside some great Patriots of the world, man. How was your week, bro?
Week was busy, good but busy. You know how it is, man. Starting new stuff up. You know what I'm saying? Making it happen. Trying to be
Yeah,
like
man.
you.
You got some dope endeavors going on, man. We're trying to be like each other. I'm trying to keep up with you. You're trying to keep up with me. And it's like a mad dash. It's like it's great, man. It's great.
Try to get it right. You know how we do. Shout out
All
to
right.
Miss Hall in the building saying, "What's up, Mr. Two Call?" She's
What's
saying
up,
something about
sis?
wearing some fresh whites. I gotta get some fresh whites. Pew 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 for the thing. Yeah, man,
Oh,
excited. Got the Racing Realtor podcast with Gabe. That's exciting. Gabe Ellingson did that. Got to hang out with some millionaires. That was fun. Working on the grifties. A lot of work going into that. Trying to make it trying to make it all good. She said, "You're a fresh white." Ow, 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 ow. I am a fresh white. Fresh
you're the fresh
whites.
white Mike.
I keep complaining. I'm like, I gotta find me some white on white Adidas 3-stripe. They're hard to find. So anyway, I went with the black, with the black in the back. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Doing that stuff. You know how it is, man. Like you record a show and you're all worried about audio, and you spend like hours dialing in audio to make it good, and then you send it to everybody, and they're like, "It's a little blurry." And you're like, "Rock on." You know what I'm saying? You're like, "Cool." I would hate for that to not be a thing. So yeah, you know
That's how
what it
you know
is.
you're doing right, man.
Yeah, man, and excited about the Grifties, man, coming up. Gonna be fun. Gonna be hanging out with some ballers. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So, all in all, it's good stuff, man. Trying to see what's going on in the world. I know you had a great week. You went to Atlanta.
All right. I took that 4 hour trip up 16 to 75. Mm-hmm. Ooh, needed some water, but I had that drum out. Yes, it was great, man. It was Savannah Chatham Day up in the state legislature. We talked some laws. I got a few laws that I definitely wanted through out of a couple of chambers, so I'm happy about that. There's some future things that I dropped in my legislators' ears that definitely want and need to see here in
Heck
Georgia.
yeah.
And yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Okay, so first you got to tell me about the trip. What is the trip from Savannah to Atlanta like? Is it good roads? Is it bad roads? What's that like?
It's an interstate full of trucks and cars. So it literally goes from it goes from Savannah, literally from Savannah to Atlanta. So
That's
you have
weird.
Macon along the way, and you have a bunch of other country roads that country towns that are on the way, smaller cities that are on the way that breaks off of 16. And it in 16, Interstate 16 ends in Macon, and I-75 begins in Macon, and that takes you for further north to Atlanta, which is more cars and more trucks. So 16 is 2 lane, and then when you get to 75, it breaks off into like mm, well, it's not 2 lane, it's 4 lane, but two each way. And then 75 turns on like 5 or 6, like a HOV, and then the exit rows, and oh my god, it's crazy. That's when the people go from the HOV to the freaking exit in like no blinker, just straight cross like Fast and Furious. Like it's like, oh my goodness. I hate it, can't stand it. But yeah, it's pretty smooth up 16, and then you get to 75, and it's like Jesus take the wheel. Get me
Nice.
there.
That's very that's very nice. So, you the first thing you did when you got there, you did a breakfast. Is that correct?
Now, the first thing that I did when I got there, um, I went straight to the Capitol. I went in the Capitol, and linked up with a few legislative friends, walked around. A lot of the local delegation was roaming around on that Wednesday. So it was like city hall leaders, city
Right.
manager, councilman, clerk. mayor, all those people roam around from all the Chatham County municipalities. So we had City of Savannah, we had Port Wentworth, uh, Tybee Island, Pooler. They were all there. Pooler is the city that's next to us that's really booming with population. It's arguably the fastest growing city in Georgia right now. It's growing up.
Nice.
They just got a Tanger outlet. Um, they just got their Dave and Buster's, the Savannah area just got its first Dave and Buster's recently. I think it was December 4th when it opened. And it's very small compared, but they just got the first Dave and Buster's. A lot of apartments and houses are growing up out there. We got a couple of new schools or expanding of schools that's going on. So Pooler is the blowing up city in the area. Then we have Tybee Island, which is the beach. Everyone knows Savannah has the beach. Tybee Island is our beach. And their legislators
Nice.
was there and they were talking about a few things. One of the major things that they were talking about actually was trying to do something for Orange Crush. And we'll definitely have to tackle Orange Crush. I've talked about it on my on Friday Night Flights before. I'll definitely
Yeah.
be cranking up conversations sometime soon. But it's like we all know Freaknik. It's Freaknik's little sister.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
We do
So,
kind of an Orange Crush thing here, but it has to do with Oklahoma State. So
yeah, yeah. This had to do with Savannah State, and then the Savannah State was like, "Oh no, we didn't want to be attached to this anymore. We got to get away from this." But it's one of those things. It's like Bebe's kids. It doesn't die. It multiplies. So,
that is very fair. Well, okay, so do you want to talk a little bit about the mayor or no? I mean, it's up to you. But I know
I
you.
mean,
We all know you and the mayor have I've had your experiences, whatever you want to call it,
mhm,
run-ins,
and we'll
howdies.
continue for the next
Howdy.
4 years.
First of all, real fast, shout out to LS in the building. Pew, 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 pew. Oh yeah.
That's my dog. What up, brother?
He
Um,
said Orange Crush live, Freaknik is dead.
yeah, Orange Crush lives and Freaknik is dead.
All right, well
Yeah.
that's fair. It
People are
is
trying to
what it
bring
is.
Freaknik back, but it won't happen.
It is what, but that's okay, man. We're doing it. We're
Yeah,
doing it
yeah,
large, and we're doing it live. And
yeah.
we're making it happen.
It's all right, man.
I'm excited to be a part of it, man. Also, the what do you call it? The Juneteenth wrestling
Juneteenth is going
celebration.
down. That's right. Well, the Juneteenth celebration is going down in Atlanta. Like it's going like so. Man, it's funny to say that because there was someone just recently. We were on Twitter and they were talking. It was like, "Oh, y'all just started celebrating Juneteenth when Joe Biden then made it a federal holiday." And was like, "No, you just started celebrating Juneteenth when Joe Biden made it a holiday. We've definitely been celebrating around these parts for a very long time. So,
Yeah, I mean,
it's connected.
it was just a thing. You know what I'm saying? It was never not a thing.
Yeah,
So
it's been a thing ever since. It just hit mainstream, airwaves whenever Trump wrote, the declaration and started mentioning it. And I want to say maybe Obama mentioned it before. I can't say that he didn't. Um, but I know it got big word up under Trump. And then people
right.
was like, he was like, "Yeah, I'm the first one. I'm the first one who actually said something about it on the mainstream." And then everybody was like, "Oh, you're not just because you said it didn't mean that we wasn't celebrating it," and just to hate Trump shit. But Juneteenth has definitely been celebrated for a while. But anyway, we're going down Juneteenth weekend in Atlanta. The Seaport Championship Wrestling will be up there. They will be doing an event. I'll be announcing. My partner, he'll be announcing as well. We're gonna be ringside, making it happen. So we're gonna get him in Georgia. We're gonna make him a Georgia boy out of him, y'all. We're gonna make a Georgia boy out of him. So yeah, we got that going on Juneteenth in Atlanta. I want to say it's in it's not in Liberty Plaza. It's somewhere near the Mercedes-Benz arena. There's a big outside area.
I'm in. Oh yeah, Amy wants to go too now. See.
Oh
See
boy,
what
here
you
we
did?
go. Here we go.
So my man LS says, Freaknik comeback will never be what it was. Mayor Bill Campbell killed it.
This is true.
Very,
And you
very
know
good.
what? Listen, bro, I'm not even mad that it won't come back, I'm really like I'm gonna be real. I think Orange Crush needs to go the way of the dodo as well. And that's, simply because the amount of debauchery, it's like because it's in a debaucherous event, right? They every year someone's trying to out debauch the year before, right? Because
Right.
now everybody, I got cred, bitches. I got
I got
cred.
cred.
You know, everybody wants that cred now. They're trying to be that viral moment. So the last one they just had, there was this OnlyFans moment, if you would, that took place in the public bathroom on the pier. And it comes to find out that the young lady participating in said events with these fellas was around here giving out packages that'll be with them for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying? So
See?
it's like, every year they're trying to outdo the year before. And it's time for it to go the way of the dodo. I'm for beach celebrations. I do believe we can do some type of beach festival out there that is
For sure.
within taste, especially saying that it's a college beach festival, right? There's things that can be done in taste where it can be enjoyable for the future, for enjoyable for the students and for the cities that are hosting it.
Right. Absolutely. And I think Orange is one of those things, right? Orange Crush. I know here it's focused on, education, music, athleticism, that kind of stuff. Now, it's college kids, so you're going, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You can't put a bunch of college kids nowhere and not expect stuff to be crazy. But I like the
Because
idea, man.
McKinn,
I loved our Orange Crush, man. There was a lot of band focus. And I love that,
mhm,
So,
yeah.
you had the drum competitions and, the stuff like that. I dig that stuff. So,
Well, the only thing organized about our Orange Crush was the nightclub events. You know, they don't even take the common decency to get in contact with City Hall and
oh,
actually organize the event. They move on some, it's a public beach, so we're going to go down there anyway. And it's like, wait a minute. We're talking about the tunes of, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people on a city that doesn't even have 12,000 residents.
wow. Wow.
That part. So, when you're not taking into accountability, like, hey, this city only has maybe at max 10 police officers on duty at one time, and we're influxing thousands of people into this area. And then it's a road, and LS knows the road. It is a 2-lane highway between water, right? There's been times, I
Mm.
might have to look and see if I can find some video where I've rode down this road recently going down to, do a job. It is like one accident and it's over. It's over. The whole thing is shut down.
Wow.
So when you're thinking about safety and all those types of things, it's trouble. It's logistically a nightmare.
I feel you, man. Hitting that chat. My man LS, he's a down South Georgia boy. That's how we get down. Troublemaker Jonas says this topic is right in line with the tweet I tagged you in protocol or the first topic. Didn't see that, but I'm sure we'll check that out. What up? By the way, Jonah in the building. Pew 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 pew.
Shouts out to
Getting
my dog
some
Jonah.
yeah, man, getting some great responses off of the Rumble on Rumble extra that we put out. When was it? Tuesday night we put that out. Still
Mhm.
getting some great reviews, some great responses on it. Thank you so much, Jonah. That was strong stuff. Amy just says packages, giving out packages. That's how we do in the dirty South.
Giving out the emphasis on dirty.
Dirty, dirty. All right, packages. We got LS saying your Freak Nick would now be Freak Fruitcake Nick. No thanks. I'm not in that. See, that's and see that's the thing too. Like, yeah, man. And if you tell those folks, hey, that's not the fun thing we're trying to do, then you're the bad guy. It sucks. Then you were talking
Mhm.
about that highway, and he's talking about one way in and one way out there. Crazy. And then Jonah just dropped one on us. I haven't read this one yet. Well, college is just enhanced training of the animals. Literally, etymology of the word of education is to train animals. Absolutely. And then she says, ew. Fair enough. I posted y'all my audio only shows or the link. Thank you, Jones. You're making it happen, troublemaker. Yeah, man.
Oh
I
snap!
love what
Before
you're doing.
shouts out to my
Sorry, go
boy
ahead.
Haram, like just checked in.
Ah, big Haram Life. What up, dog? Pew, pew, pew,
What's
pew.
happening,
Haram
Haram?
Life in the building. Thank you so much for dropping through there, Big Sexy. His show is awesome, man. If you guys get a chance, it's The Haram Life on Rumble. And I believe YouTube as well. I don't really check out YouTube like that. So great show. His show is fresh. It's it's a pretty show with some pretty dudes, all like we're fresh and cool, and you know what I mean. And then there's us. So cool, man. We're the other dudes. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
The other guys.
We make it happen on our end. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we're gonna link up with Haram at the Grifties. He's gonna give us some of them cool guy tips. You know what I'm saying? So and we'll be in there. LS says that's why I prefer intelligence over education. I absolutely agree. I also find that an issue there is that somebody can know a whole lot about one thing, and they think that makes them authority on many things, and that's silly.
Mhm.
I'm pretty solid when it comes to psychology, decent when it comes to law. I know a little bit about music, but I'm more of a jack of all trades, master of none. And the one thing that does do is keep you humble. It makes you realize that you're always playing a chess game in a way, right?
Mm.
And there's always a chance to lose. That's why I like fighting, because the biggest, baddest dude is always not expecting the knockout that knocks him out, So I like that in life. I like understanding you always got that knockout blow. You always got that punch. It's not about how many books you've read, although reading is important. You know what I mean? It's about application of that knowledge. So, yeah. Northern sexy. We the Southern sexy. You know what I'm saying? We keep them ladies warm at night. You know what it is. Biscuits and taters. So,
Mhm.
Jack Doherty, shout out to Jack in the building. Long time no talk. We ain't mad at you, but we are going to work on that profile picture. He says you don't have to be certified to be qualified. Absolutely. And then really the question there begs to who's doing the certification, right? Who's doing the certification? That's the most important thing. Troublemaker up. Amy says reading is fundamental. I agree. I got a reading nook right over there. When I move the pillow of my head, you know what I mean? I'm reading some spiritual stuff on my downtime right now. And then, everything I read right now is either news for us and what we do or, trading manuals. I'm trying to learn stuff at a rapid pace. So, and I will say that too. You learn when you're out in the real world and you got to learn in real time. You learn a lot quicker than when you're in a setup and people go, well, this is what you should learn. And then you get out and it's hard to apply. Troublemaker says the emperor has no clothes. Doctors afraid to say Fauci is a Jesuit midget at eternal war with heretics because my credentials would be tarnished. Fair enough, Jonah. Absolutely. That is some good info there. And I think that's the thing. In fact, there was, I want to say, forgive me, I should have looked harder. Just a side note, the North Carolina primary just happened, the Democratic primary. And it was, Joe won by, 90 some percent or, like 94, 96% of the vote. And that just makes me sad. I'll just be honest about that.
But why?
Regardless, because,
why?
I was a Bernie bro back in the day. True story.
Okay.
Not necessarily proud of it now, but I knew that neither party had our best interest at heart, and I didn't want to vote in another Democrat. It was that simple.
True.
Democrats had enough power for enough period of time, and stuff wasn't getting better. It's time to bring somebody else in. And back then, I was taught that Republicans were just straight evil. So, but I don't understand why he would. Also, it was like the lowest turnout ever in the history.
And that's why I said, bro, why? You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for you to feel upset about it. It's exactly who you thought it was going to be. It was exactly what you thought was going to happen, right?
Right.
A bunch of liberal, because I mean, really, it was let me go look at this right quick. I have this up on my page because I shared the numbers, right? I told that I'm going to bring it up and then we can bring the tweet up on the screen and then we'll talk about this right quick. Because I want to put it in perspective for you when it comes to what just happened with the Biden primary. All right.
Just
All right, so
interesting to me. Yeah. Oh,
I'm
there
just
we
it's
go.
sharing. All right, here we go. So let's talk about Biden. All right. Biden got 126,321 votes in a state primary of South Carolina, a statewide primary of South Carolina. Okay. We're talking about Charlotte. We're talking about Charleston. We're talking about not Charlotte, 'cause Charlotte's North Carolina. So we're talking about Columbia. We're talking about Charleston. We're
Yeah.
talking about North Charleston. We're talking about Beaufort. We're talking about Hilton Head. We're talking about goodness gracious, where is the HBCU at? God dang it. Orangeburg. We're talking about Orangeburg. We're talking about all of these cities in South Carolina. And Biden can only muster 126,321 votes in the statewide primary. Okay.
Wow.
Now, when you think about that, as you stated, that's low turnout.
Absolutely.
That is no enthusiasm at all. Right. And then Marion Wilson gets 2,700 and Dean Phillips get 2,200. Right.
That's
That's
depressing. Yeah.
very depressing, especially when you go and you look at this, where Trump gets 176,392. Of course, this is New Hampshire, but still, we're talking
Yeah.
about a primary. We're talking about a statewide primary here. 176,392 votes. And then his next competitor gets 140,288. So honestly, let's be real.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley got more votes than Biden did
Shoo.
in the primary, okay? And she
Wow.
came in second place compared to Trump. There's nothing to be worried about. Well, there's nothing with the numbers in the primary. He wasn't going against anybody. There's nobody
Right.
on that ballot against him. Nobody knows who Williamson is. I happened to be in a space with her yesterday, and I'm not impressed. I'm not. I'm gonna
Really?
be real. I am less than impressed. I honestly, she made me dislike her even more in this space, right? And I'm just going to hit on this and why. Someone was mentioning the phones was going, these X spaces be acting up. They were saying names, and she had mentioned earlier about the drone strike in Jordan and the people who died. All right. So before we even got to this point, she mentioned that and how we're on the brink of World War III or whatever the case may be. Fast forward, someone was talking to her about a dude. I can't think of the guy's name, and I don't even think they even found out who the guy's name was, but had mentioned something. He was out of New York. He did some work in New York, and they were saying off names that she may have known. Well, her phone cut out. So they were like, well, while we wait for her, let's mention the people who died, over in Jordan, whatever, and said their names. And then she comes back in and she's like, oh, no, I don't recall or know any of those names.
Who? Wait, what? You don't know the people that you work? Okay.
She was talking about like the people who died. Right?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall those names. Wait a minute. If you say Breonna Moffett right now, to especially with people who's in the know, that name is going to attach to the young lady who just died because they're putting her name everywhere. They're saying her name everywhere.
Exactly.
You're running for office and you just said and you just mentioned, right, or this incident. When you hear the name Moffett, it should click in your head. Yeah, that's the chick from Jordan. That's the young lady that died in Jordan. Okay, cool. But getting into space now, I don't know those names. None of those names, something like that. None of those names ring a bell. They don't ring a bell. You don't wait, what? But you're using their incident to try and pull people for votes? Nah, man. She lost me on that one.
This is a question I have for you. I didn't even want to know, but since we're in the mix now, I might as well. Is it interesting to you that all 3 service members that died were black? Is that and they're using it? We'll get to these in a second. Hold on. And they're using it as an excuse to go to war, like borderline illegally right now, because I mean, there's been no even letting there's been no formal anything other than no, we're just bombing stuff, and
Hmm.
which makes me so mad. But anyway, we'll get to the chats and we'll get into that. The population of South Carolina is 5.3 million. Subtract 2 million for children. Great stats protocol. As always, pro knows. Pro
Yep.
knows.
Yep.
Amy says that's shameful. I completely agree. Black and from Georgia.
Yeah, they're black from Georgia. Miss Moffitt's right here from my city. I
Yeah,
went
I
to
remember.
the school that she graduated from. I went there for 1 year and 2 weeks. My mom graduated from that school, as a matter of fact.
Would it Do you think that's trying to deter people from joining the military? As, in my opinion, we're trying to replace our military clearly with the military age men that we're shipping in that you don't have to give the same level of benefits to. Think of the money you could save if, you know what I mean, you didn't have to give these people the rights and the benefits and the things that our soldiers deserve that they barely get now, and
Right.
fight for, that they're supposed to get. But imagine if you had a group of people you didn't even have to do that for. They didn't have official rights under the Bill of Rights, under, you know what I mean? They were not US
Mhm.
citizens. So you didn't have to take care of them like citizens. And you were not responsible to them the way you're responsible to American citizens. Do you think that that's a deterrence? I just wonder, like, why. And then I'm not seeing much on it, and it's funny, of course, because that's how our folks do in a way. You know what I mean? But that's woke right
Yeah.
stuff we can get into in a second. But I'm not seeing much on it, kind of making a point that, hey, look, man, I mean, the new push is, black people don't love America, and that's kind of the thing now. Or they need to fall in line with kind of the new hard, right stance, or they don't get to count or whatever. And I just wonder what's going on. I don't know, man. I just feel like there's more there. Personally, I hope nobody died. Personally, I hope they're just throwing up pictures and they're making fake names because they want us to get into a war. And these folks didn't really die, but they're targeting a hotbed of political stuff in America. Yes, I said hotbed of political stuff because I'm intelligent and have a strong command of the English language. But,
Mhm.
in my opinion, there's a very good chance nobody died. And I sure hope that's the case. But they want it to be Georgia, and they want it to be, America's heroes, which are young black men and women right now. But with those, they don't, you know what I mean? The only black men and women that get spotlighted, and even the young white men are, trans. So anyway, that's my
So
theory on it, is that, man,
there's a
if it
lot to
was,
that.
oh my God, a black patriot, you are one. Oh my God, duh.
Mhm.
I'm right here talking to
Mhm.
one. You are a black patriot. They hate black patriots more than anything. It goes against
Yeah.
the narrative. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Completely.
So
Completely
I
against the
don't know,
narrative.
man.
I,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that it may be a deterrence. I think that it's also, as my brother just stated, it's an attempt to get Black Americans on board with the whole Israel, Gaza, Middle Eastern war. Because a lot of us are like, man, screw that. You know what I mean? Like that ain't right. XYZ. We shouldn't be over there. Um, so I think that this is, having a young lady like they knew. I wouldn't be surprised if Americans did this in order to go ahead and get into a hot situation and allow it to be accepted. Also on top of getting black Americans to accept the whole war, it's it's a play on this whole, DEI situation that is going on right now, right? Like race is so prevalent, it's so hype. This happened, was it, January 31st, February 1st, something right there, like right at Black History Month, you know what I'm saying? So now forever in history, it'll be etched, right? That at the beginning of Black History Month, these three black soldiers from the 912 Georgia area gave their lives as the catalyst to start off our bombing of Iran, Iraq, Syria, XYZ, right?
Right.
It's all it's all a play. It's all a play that a lot of us, fall into, sadly. And I'm sorry. I do believe that, those were real people. Those are real names. I can honestly say that. At least as far as Moffat is concerned, right? Me and Moffat have, we have mutual friends.
Yeah.
I've I've seen it, so we have those mutual friends. I know she was a real person. Um, don't believe she was a real casualty of war as they're putting it off. I think that this was, another October 7th. It was allowed to happen, whether they pulled the trigger themselves
Yeah.
or, they seen it coming and was like, oh, yes, finally, you guys have done it. We're going to go, and we're here now. Excuse me. I can see them putting those foreign nationals, in the military. But I wouldn't say that they don't have rights, right? I would go further and say that they do have rights. They have our rights. They don't necessarily have rights, but they are commandeering our rights, if you would. And on top of commandeering our rights, they have some extraordinary privileges stacked on top of it. So, like, your white privilege doesn't mean anything. My black privilege that I was able to ride on for a little while because, everybody was like, oh, black man, we're so sorry for what happened to you. Now it's like, I'm Woody and they're Buzz Lightyear. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. Man, let's hit these chats real fast. Jonas says Joe Biden is Illuminati bloodlines. Granddaddy was a slave trader, elected senator in most corrupt state in America before he was even old enough to take office. Yeah, he's shady as all get out. Like I said, man, while I'm clearly not a supporter pretty much of anything the Democratic Party stands for, and while I loathe the whole Joe Biden era that we're in right now, I feel bad for most Democrats for thinking that are either not involved in the process or they're letting that get, because that's how you take over. That's how an evil regime takes over, in my opinion, is that they do nothing. What is it? For evil to prevail, all you need is for good men to do nothing. Because evil are those weeds in the garden that are always there to choke out the good. And if we don't get in there and root that stuff out, it's going to be a problem. My man, LS, this is an attempt to get black Americans on board, just like you said. I love it. I don't love the topic, but anyway, this is an attempt to get black Americans on board with Israel genocide in Gaza. We won't be bamboozled and hoodwinked into supporting Biden. Thank you, LS. Amen to that. Troublemaker Jonah on the Rumble. It's about current forces being DEI and segregating back to Buffalo Soldiers is my guess. Buffalo Soldier. That's a great song. I love Bob Marley. It's hot. There's stuff. Yes, it is a hot war, and there is stuff. And Jonah says, well, Obama did it for sure. He sold the drones to be reverse engineered. Sorry, the drones crashed in Iran. Yes. That, and this is something I was actually studying a little bit last night, is this new drone warfare is different, man. It is it's the new suicide bomber, for lack of a better way to say it, although it can cause much more damage and get into much more places than, a biped human. And our forces and our defenses and everything is set up for rockets and, heat seeking and all of that. And these drones can just fly over and do massive damage. In fact, if you study it, a lot of people would say that the reason we're losing the war in Ukraine is because of these drones that people hadn't expected. And we don't have defenses set up for yet. It's not how our military is built, clearly. We are building defenses against our level of military, and that's not what they're doing now. So, yeah. See here. I sent Jabari a voice message. Joe Biden, greatest president in history, as a direct example. Yes. Okay, rock on. I want to show you something. I want to drop something. This is an 8-minute video of Tucker Carlson, and I wanted to get your opinion. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but there is some really interesting and valuable stuff that I just wanted to get your take on. That's all right?
Let's get it.
How you feel about that? All right, man. And, of course, it's Tucker, so love him or hate him, it's not going to be unintelligent. Or it'll be as intelligent as anything else you're going to be able to pull up right now, right? So I'll say that at least. So, yeah.
What is the most important thought we still haven't given ourselves permission to think? Okay, maybe let's make it easier. What is the most important thought we haven't given ourselves permission to say out loud?
I probably have said it out loud.
I know that's a trick question.
Whatever it is.
I know that's a trick question.
The thing that I go back to, and I'm not even sure that, this is not like spine-tinglingly controversial, but it's almost never said. Countries don't hang together just because. The natural state of man is not progress. That's like a complete lie. Anyone know what the Bronze Age collapse was? Yeah, okay, so the one person. So the Bronze Age collapse was, there was a dark age before the Dark Ages, right? So it was about 1500 BC. 1200 BC, okay. I knew it, look, I bow to superior knowledge.
Nerd in the room.
When basically the sum total of human knowledge disappeared, and we're not quite sure. We're still trying to kind of figure out, we may never know. But it mirrored very much the Dark Ages. By the way, do you know how medieval Europe, and by the way, all the way into Levant, the medieval world, got lead, the substance lead, for pipes and cooking and later for ammunition? They took it from Roman ruins. That was the sole source of it, from Roman ruins. Because the technology, which is not complex technology, required to mine lead and separate it from silver or zinc or whatever, because it's an alloy usually, was lost. No one had any idea how to do it. Only for like 1,000 years, not a big deal.
Currently, right now, there are historic, not the pyramids, but other historic hieroglyphs and things like that are and giant monuments, especially in the Middle East right now, that are falling apart and crumbling because nobody knows how to restore them. Like literally the masonry that is required, there's like one family, and that one family can't get to it all, and nobody knows how to restore these things. We're losing history because we don't respect the craft, So yeah, it's a deal there. So yeah, we'll keep going. I just wanted to drop that point.
So I guess, what's the point? The point is that there's no reason that this should continue apace on the trajectory it's currently on. There's no reason that shouldn't happen again. It's happened at least twice, probably happened more than that. But by its nature, we don't know, right? So what's the point? The point is, what does it take to hold a country together, particularly a country in which there's no majority, right? Where there's no obvious thing that holds people together, not even history, because the demographics change so much. I'm not against that, by the way. I'm not against, there's nothing inherently bad about rapid demographic change, and or immoral, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that it makes it even more important for the people in charge to think through, what does hold the country together? What do we have in common as Americans? If a war were to break out, why would we all fight? And what are we fighting for? What is this country? What does it mean? Is it just the sum total of commerce? Is it the GDP? Is it something more than that? These are not only interesting academic questions, they're vital practical questions.
All right, I want to take it from there just for a second, because you're in politics, you're in business. I think it's important. What does keep a country together, and do we have that anymore in America? Politics, commerce. What is your thoughts on that?
I think it's still there, but I believe it's on life support. It's on life support because, as you know, you were saying, just like you can't find those masons to keep up those grand artifacts around the world, it's the same thing that's happening here in America with politics and with business, right? You can't find the people to actually, there's a few, and they're doing what they can, but they can't maintain it all. So what we have to do is we have to get in a position to where we're training the ones who are coming up behind us who can help us maintain it and take on their own load of it so they can, keep it going as well. That's where we are in America. So we're there still, but we've almost lost it. And we're in this last hoorah right now where we can grab people and kind of mold them to get in and plug these holes and fix the situation along with us.
What's your opinion on religion. Okay, so just to give you a quick idea or background, to me, it has to do with Christian values. Now, I say Christian values, and I also mean Muslim values. I also mean Vivek Ramaswamy level Hindu values, right? Buddhist values. What I mean by that is we all kind of had an agreement, which was, let's just say the 10 Commandments, right? Because they pretty much translate. They're in synagogues, you know what I mean? It's the 10 Commandments. And we decide, okay, so based on kind of this, we kind of all live our life, right? We don't steal, we don't kill, we don't, you know what I mean? We don't cheat. We all, but you know what I mean? Like that stuff happens. But overall, okay, so we're going to set up a society where this is the basis. And out of this, basically, it's real easy to follow this stuff. It's called basic respect. I won't come in your living room. You don't come in my living room, unless invited. And then tell me you enjoyed the dinner and be about your business, right? So that's kind of what I thought America was kind of built on, or the idea, and that's kind of what held us together, is that we all agreed on that. And unlike a lot of other places in the world, you could be a Jew. To give you an example, and I've said this before, in my cul-de-sac, in my neighborhood where my mom and dad live, or, my mom and stepfather live, in their, late age of life, in retirement age of life, you have straight up people have a BLM flag in their yard. Then right next to them is like a more conservative gay couple. Then you have my parents' church every Sunday, hardcore, Republican, conservative Christian folk. Then right next to them, you have a Mexican man and an Asian woman, and their 4 babies. And I think her grandma lives there. You know what I mean? So mixed up. I don't know what their politics is, and you know what I mean. They don't fly their flags. Then right next door to them, full on MAGA flag flying family. Then right next door to them, a black family with, not a, what I'm saying? Not a political thing. They look like just nice folk. So the point there and the thought there is that we can all live together and get along. The idea is I allow you to fly your flag, you allow me to fly my flag, but at the end of the day, we're still neighbors. And we still agree that if I see somebody trying to bust into your house, that's crime in my neighborhood, and I don't want that. And that we're not against each other in any way, shape, or form. So I really believe that religion on some level played a part, because one thing actual religion teaches you, or actual Christianity, I can speak for, teaches you, is to respect other religions. Oh, we got a little one.
Yeah. She wants to be up under daddy for the moment. So
what's her name?
Essence.
Essence in the building. Hi, Essence.
Hi.
She looked tired. Hi, Essence. She's cute.
Yeah. Yeah, she's tired. She's ready to go to sleep. It's my little booski. So yeah, man, I don't know what's really happening. Okay, well, go ahead. I'll see you later. Okay, go get your bonnet. Bye. Okay, bye.
Little babies are cute, man. Let's hit these chats, man. Let's see here. Jonas says, "Get the position you always want, but you are a skin suit for Tommy Blinken and WestX advisors. Look up their location." We will for sure. My man LS, pause. Translation: anti-Semitism is a ruse that imposters use to pimp our government. Say it, Tucker. I know. Hey. He's making a valuable point here. Every guy has an issue with something, you know what I mean? So, eliminate public education to keep a country. Resist schools. Communist Manifesto. 25 points of Nazi programming. All public. I see that. I do see that. I do know about the Communist Manifesto. She says, "Hello, sweet one," to Essence. That's cute. That's good stuff, man. Look at you. Making the world a better place. All right, we're gonna kick it right back off here. This is something very interesting.
Wow.
I really wanted your thought on this. So what?
Wow.
What? Wow, what?
The grift is real.
What happened? What?
Oh my God. Killer Mike got arrested at the Grammys.
Oh, ready right now.
Yeah.
Man.
The grift is real.
What'd he do?
I don't know. I don't even care.
Wear a MAGA hat?
No, he's not smart enough to do that. his to spew so many things to seem smart. He's not smart enough to do that. He wouldn't dare.
It
He's not
says
even
Killer
smart
Mike,
enough to.
he wins best album, best song, and performance. 2 hours ago, it
Mhm.
says, though.
Yeah, he won 3 Grammys and then he got arrested. The grift is real, okay?
What for, though? What for? Killer Mike was handcuffed. Hold on, man. Let me bust this out. Hold on. Boom.
That's that stream grift, bro.
Let's see here. Killer Mike was handcuffed and escorted by police out of the Grammy Awards on Sunday evening. He had won 3 Grammys during the pre-televised portion of the ceremony. Killer Mike representatives. Let's see here. But why? May be released. It's unclear what he's charged with. Is that just cred? Is he just trying to get cred?
Yeah, bro. I think this is just cred. I think this is just cred. Yo,
not
Jay
saying-
Fallon, what's up, bros?
Jay in the building. It's not even saying what for. It's not
It's
even
cred.
saying, man.
It's cred. It's cred. That's all it is, bro. It's cred.
Jay
is
in the
cred.
building. Pew, 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 pew. Uh-oh. Yeah. Thumbs up in the
Thumbs
comments.
up.
Jay, I feel like we got to be on our best behavior. We got a professional in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
And
man,
then if
he
we're going to
come-
get on conspiracy, we can't hold. You know what I mean? Between him and Jonah. Woo, we're ankle deep in waters they
down
swim
and
in.
dirty. Yeah, we're
Down
getting
and
down and
dirty.
dirty. Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I
No,
think
this
it's just cred.
It's just
Sorry,
cred,
guys.
bro. It's just cred. It's just fucking cred. It just is what it is. Again, I feel like a lot of the things that he do is literally just for cred, right? And I say that because, you know, and I'm someone who at one point was a huge fan of Killer Mike. You know what I'm saying? I respected the things he was talking. Like when he, you know, kind of stood up for Candace Owens in a sense, like when they did that whole revolution, or no, that was what's the name of that thing? Oh man, Diddy's network, Revolt. When they did that whole Revolt Nation town hall speak thing, and he was literally saying the same thing that Candace Owens was saying, but Candace couldn't get through. They were able to beat up Candace Owens' show. And you know,
Yeah.
whenever he said the exact same thing, everybody just sat there and nodded and agreed. And it's like, damn, she was saying the same shit. But no, I appreciate that. But with him, it's like, bro, if me compared to you, I'm broke. Compared to Killer Mike, I am broke. All right. I do not have the money that Killer Mike has. Am I on my way? You fucking right. Do I currently have it? No, I do not. And if I can get things together and organize in my neighborhoods with the resources that I have, you, sir, with way more resources, can organize and get things done in your neighborhoods, right? So when you're sitting in this church and you're asking black people, and you know, I've heard Cannon say it 1,000 times, where you know that's what made him get up and handle his business, and I respect that. Is this conversation that made him get on his gun tip when he was like, you know, how many of you can hunt? How many of you can grow food? How many of you do martial arts? How many of you do this? How many of you do that? I was like, yeah, that's right. But guess what? I can say, and you know, I hear it all the time, oh, you always you're the smartest person in the room. No, I'm not trying to be the smartest person in the room. I just know how to do a lot of shit because I'm interested in doing a lot of shit. You can do the same thing if you just applied yourself. I do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, I can do that stuff because when the shit hits the fan, I want to be able to handle business for my family. That's just what it is. I want to be able to live on my own accord. That's just what it is. So, Killer Mike, if I'm doing this and I am pushing for it to happen in my community with just a little bit of resources I have, where are you with doing it to yours? Where are you in making sure that it happens in your community? I would be, listen, this conversation wouldn't even be happening if we can point to a section of Atlanta where this man is actually doing this and getting involved and making it happen. You guys see me go live on Facebook and take pictures and do all that. You see me out here amongst the streets wanting to see the change that I want to, doing the change that I want to see in my community. he could do the same thing, and he's not. And then you just had this situation happen with his quote unquote bank, which wasn't even his bank. It was a middleman to a bank that's in Washington State to do things in Atlanta. Anyway, it's just all a grift to me, man. I think he found a good way to money grift, and it's okay if that's what you're gonna do, but don't do it on the necks and the heads of my people. You know what I'm saying? While you enrich yourself and truly just leave them on the wayside. Because if shit was to hit the fan today, that nigga will haul ass.
And now
Oh.
you know, because Pro told you. And that is the truth. One thing that frustrates me is that I'm standing up I'm 5 toes. You know what I mean? I got 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? So Jay Pylon dropped a little bit. He says, Zay Flowers' name is appropriate for the fact that he was the plant during the Ravens loss. Correct. Accurate. Cultivate the positive towards manifesting your abundance. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's like, yes. And to go back earlier, I think it was this week. Had one of those weeks where it might have been last week, but the whole Rick Ross thing we were talking about. And then somebody tried to snap back on Twitter on you on that. And it's crazy because somebody like Rick Ross having the balls to go, this ain't good money. Motherfucker, where's your money? What? Good. That ain't good money? Bro, how did you get your money? Drugs? I mean, you have every day. The whole song is about how to be a professional criminal mastermind. You know what I mean? Literally, I mean, he talks about stuff. I'm like, ooh, like I'm flying chickens across the Pacific, which is true. Because if you know about Hawaii, where I lived for a very long time, shout out to the 808. If you know about Hawaii, you know chicken fights are a big deal out there. Cockfights are huge. It's a big deal out there. I didn't know that he's like, I'm flying chickens across the Pacific. I'm like, how does he know about it? He's straight thugging. Respect for his realness, fair. However, don't talk to me about good money. You ain't seen a good dollar a day in your life, bro. And truthfully, even if now your shit is legit, it's legit because you built it off the back of hookers, prostitutes. You want to get real with it? Damaged women without families and good men in their lives who end up in your hands, and then you pimp them out, and then crack. How's crack doing for the community? How's drugs doing for the community? And when I say the community, I mean any community where it's decimated them, because it does. You name the community. Whatever community pops in your head where there's heavy drug use, specifically crack, heroin, meth, how's that community doing? And yeah, there are people making millions off that. No diggity, no doubt, right? It ain't good money, bro. It ain't good money. So don't tell me, the Fed money ain't good money. Dude, you are so low on the list. You know what I'm saying? He stole that money. No. The IMF stole that money, okay? Man, these dudes it's levels to the game, okay?
Yes, it is.
Pawns think like pawns. Here's the deal. If all you have are war people, and you need the war people, don't get me wrong, but if all you have are warriors, you're going to deal with a lot of war, right? If all you have are people that think that these greenbacks are the value, these little pieces of paper dyed green with, old white men on them, are your value, and what your value is. What happens when you need a wheelbarrow of it to buy a gallon of milk or a loaf of bread? How valuable are you then, bro? In fact, I got blocked from a dude. I love this dude on Facebook, but he hit with the, if you don't bring home money, you're worthless to your woman. And I was like, dude, what happens when the money you bring home is not worth anything anymore?
Right.
You got to have more skills than that. You got to build community. Because no matter how good of a hunter you are, you need the guy who knows how to make bullets eventually, or the guy who knows how to keep the gun running, or the guy that knows where the good hunting grounds are. You're going to need more. And that's just hunting. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the whole idea of good money, bad money, it's all bad money, bro. Right now, it's bad money in the Middle East, which brings me back to what I'm saying. What keeps the country together? This is the part I really, really wanted you to hear and comment on, because he talks about diversity being our strength here. So, guys, this is Tucker Carlson. If you're a little bit late to the party, and he has this great video, we're about 3 minutes in, and we're just commenting on the important parts.
Because if you don't answer them, the country will actually fall apart for real. Vital, practical questions. Because if you don't answer them, the country will actually fall apart for real. That's not a right-wing point. It's an obvious point. And it's a measure of how unbelievably stupid, and I mean that like literally stupid, like low IQ stupid, bovine stupid, the people in charge are, that they're not waking up in the middle of the night and thinking, holy smokes, clearly the society is becoming a lot more volatile. How do we calm things down? How do we keep it strong? And nobody is, like literally nobody is. So I would say pressing that question, boy, we've pressed it a lot.
Trump.
You know, it's not I just made a case for diversity. But the idea that diversity.
Agree or disagree, I genuinely believe Trump is like, how do I keep this country rolling? How do I get it back on the gold standard? And I think he thinks via oil, which makes complete sense to me. And I think he's the one guy in any leadership that's like, how do I get this train back on the dang track versus how do I fight the other guys, squeeze more power out of this, get us in more wars. I really think he's the only guy. Love him or hate him, agree with him or disagree with him, I think he's the only guy.
Is our strength. Okay, tell me how. Is that true in your marriage? I'm serious. Strength. A case for diversity. But the idea that diversity is our strength. Okay, tell me how. Is that true in your marriage? I'm serious. Is it? And I'm sure, I know there are a bunch of reporters here, and screw you, just ahead of time.
Screw you.
But I know they're going to be like, oh, Carlson comes out against diversity. I'm not coming out against diversity at all. I like diversity, actually. Just don't lie to me about it. Just don't lie. Just stop lying. How's that? And why don't you explain how it works? If you're going to make it our national motto, don't you owe me? And speak slowly so I can understand. How does it make us stronger? If I married someone who couldn't, I've been married, almost 29 years. If I married someone who couldn't speak English and hated all my views, would that make my marriage stronger? Maybe it would. Tell me how. If you had a military unit comprised of people with literally nothing in common, couldn't communicate, would that be a more effective fighting force? Would it be more cohesive? Like, it's insane, actually. Is the truth. And again, it goes back to what I was implying previously, which is like everything they say is the opposite of what's true. It's like totally bewildering. It's not, and it's what's so bewildering is, and maybe that's why it's so effective, it's so different from the way normal people lie. So I have a ton of children, like Mormon level of children. And I'm not like a great parent or anything, but
You'll appreciate this part, I think.
I you just sort of learn by osmosis if you have enough of them. And one of the things that I learned a lot about is lying, because all kids lie, and they lie because they love you. They don't lie because they're bad. No, I'm serious. You don't lie to people you don't care about. When was the last time you lied to an Uber driver? Please. You spill your guts. If you're having an affair, you'll tell him. Why do you care? His judgment doesn't strike fear into your heart. It's like it's irrelevant. Anyway, so kids lie because they love you. So you see a lot of lying as a parent, and it's always the same kind of lying. Like, you ate those cookies. There were 10 cookies and they're gone and you ate them. And your kid will be like, oh, I only had 3. What happened to the other 7? I don't know. It's a shade off of the truth. Yes, I ate the cookies, but I didn't eat all 10. Like, that's ridiculous. That's outrageous.
Can you attest to that?
I can attest to that. That is it. That is it. A kid will know the truth and will spare you the truth from, as my daughter would say, from making you grumpy.
Watch this.
I would never do that. Yeah, you did it. Of course you did it. The people who run our country don't lie like that at all. They're like, what? No, you ate the cookies. And you're like, what? No, I didn't eat the, yeah, you ate the cookies. You freaking cookie eater. That's why you're fat. And after a while, you're like, man, maybe I ate the cookies. They're so aggressive. The dishonesty is so aggressive that it really makes you doubt yourself. It's deep, actually, and terrible.
So that's what I kind of wanted to talk about just for a second, is how important it is that we, especially going into an election year, understand this PSYOP right here. Because we talk about, it's a PSYOP, that's a PSYOP. this is one of those beautiful moments, and I hope LS is still with us. Shout out if you are, brother. I know you're not a fan, but this is one of those important lessons. Love, hate the teacher, love the lesson. That there is an ongoing every day in the news, on social media, in the papers. There is a sub. Boy, I sounded old, in the papers. So anyway,
Yeah, I still
there
read
is
the
a
paper.
yeah, man. Well, it's important to me, and I miss local journalism. You know what I mean? The guy making 40 grand a year, and but he's doing it. He's trying to get to the bottom of stuff in his community. Anyway, the psyop, and right there, he explains the psyop in such a brilliant and beautiful way. That is, they're attacking you for calling anything out on their side, and how it's deep, and how it's one of those, you guys ate the cookies. No, you ate the cookies, and that's why you're fat, and that's why we need to establish a government program to make sure that cookies are limited. And that kind of, you're like, no, you just stop. Just stop.
Please stop.
So anyway, I wanted to, because I understand, man, you deal with those folks on the other side and even on your team a lot, and the aggressiveness of that psyop, and how you feel about that.
This is where we have to get the regular people involved, right? The everyday man and woman has to get involved for their better doing, because those people up there, that's them. You ate the cookie. Dude, there's literally there's a chocolate chip in your beard. There's crumbs on your tie. You ate the cookie. No, I didn't. You ate the cookie. You're imagining this. My tie and this chip in my beard, it identifies as a mole. And you have to say that it's a mole on my face and not a chocolate chip. And these crumbs aren't from cookies. They're crumbs from the little butterflies that just landed on me talking about trans rights. Okay. So this is what you have to understand. Like, this is these people. Yeah, crumbs on. Speaking of tie, I love that Tucker tie. I have to get me a nice black and yellow tie. That tie was awesome.
Yeah, man.
Look at that.
Yeah.
There.
Oh,
Look
yeah,
at
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's boy.
And he's at the national concern. See?
Yeah, boy.
And that's a lot. People were like, Tucker was smug. I was like, first of all, he hated the network he was working for, and he was mad that, they were doing what they did. But past that, he had so many, like, you had to understand what he was saying. Back when he was on Fox, you had to get what he was saying, because he rolled it in. It was like a cherry turnover,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
So a black and yellow tie, absolutely, you know what I'm saying? Especially when he's at the national conservatism. I absolutely see. You know what I mean? I absolutely see that. Yes.
That's freaking awesome, man. I love it. I love that that hat tip, Tucker. That's cool, man. Proud of your boy. But it's really dying off, and if we do not grab a hold of our communities and lead them to the citizens that we need them to be, all hope is lost, right? All hope is definitely lost, but it can be saved. I do believe that. But we're in the final hour. It's the final countdown.
Right. I agree. And I think that's shout out to LS still hanging in there. MSM, our readers, Project Mockingbird. Agreed, sir. Excuse me. And I think the one thing that unites us with like an LS and Jonah, excuse me, is that we still love our country. We love the idea of a country. We love the idea of a country where you can live the way you want to live, and you have the opportunity to decide whether you want to get up every morning at 6 a.m. and work till 10 p.m. if you want to, and build wealth and have that, or if you're the kind of person that wants to, be civically helpful and committed. You know what I mean? So, that's important. Jay Pylon's dropping knowledge. Mahomes Sr. got arrested over DWI, third time. Man, let that dude, leave him alone. So they're just trying to get money out of Patrick. So I think. So speaking of sports, right? Since we're on the topic, Friday night. What's good Friday night? I don't know. Maybe if you're cool, You're going to be hanging out with us. What are we going to be doing, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to be watching pew, 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 Power Slap watch party. We'll be taking over. It's a takeover. You know what I'm saying? It's going down. You know what I mean? It's going to be KO Chris versus Muniz. It's the Road to the Title Season 2 finale, Friday night, early prelim, 7:30 p.m. It's going to be going down. We're excited about it. And I think Jay Pylon's going to be in there. Pew, 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 pew.
That's right.
I think my man Jay Pylon is going to be in there with us. We got Hotep T-Rex said he'd be down. So we'll see how that goes. I know he just had a baby himself, so he stays busy.
Okay.
So, and I'm still hoping Cannon can swing through. There it is right there, y'all. Oh my God. It's KO Chris versus Muniz, World Welterweight Slap Fight Championship. Pew, 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 pew. Will you walk us through the strategies? Will you walk us through the strategies and rules? Okay, it is complex. You're right. You have these guys, and they're going to try to slap each other. It's heavy. You know what I'm saying? So that's my man Jay Pylon's going to be in there. Protocol's going to be in there. I'm going to be in there. We're going to be cracking wise. We're going to be doing it. And, we're excited. We're excited about it. You know what I mean? It's going to be fun. And the reason we do this is to show people we can have some fun.
That's it. That's it, man. We're straight going. Friday Night Flights is going to take a flight to Power Slap.
This is what we're going to do to the Democratic Party.
I cannot wait for these two to fight.
Boom, look at that. Bam, 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 bam. 5 fingers are talking to the face. Ah. What you know about it, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be doing it large and doing it live. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, man, I'm mad excited. You know, Power Slap is taking over Friday Night Flights. You know, but we're going bar nothing extremely crazy happens between today and Friday. We're going to put politics on the back burner for just a little while. And we're going to do some power slapping, man. We're going to do some men stuff.
And the cool thing is, man, we can always do both. You know what I mean? We can do both. Yeah. No problem. Dana White needs slap in his life. So do I, LS. But you're right. So I love me some Dana White. Why are we mad at Dana White, LS? You can talk to me about that. And one thing I wanted to get into, we'll probably keep it tight tonight. I know my boy's got, he's had a week. I've had a week. I think we both have packed out Mondays. So, you know, if we keep it tight tonight, 2 all in, maybe it's all right. We give you 3, we give you 4, you know, on all our shows. So I know I've got a Tuesday and possibly a Wednesday coming up. And then right after this, Kelvin Rayford, good friend, heavyweight boxing champ, Oklahoma. He's got a new podcast with his boys. If you like fighting, if you like talking to those kind of guys, I highly recommend you check it out. Shout outs to Kelvin. I think we're going to be doing something Wednesday night, and Tuesday, of course, is the Rumble on Rumble, and then, of course, Friday Night Flights, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. So, I'm sorry, Tuesday night is a PT pod. We'll be doing stuff there.
Look at you.
Oh, sorry, man, trying to run it.
Yeah.
So, I have a thing Tuesday. I just forgot who. It's a thing. I should remember. So, really happy with last week's. Really happy with the Jonah drop-in, the Rumble on Rumble Extra. Was real happy with that. So, as we get into it, man, what I want to talk about right now is something that's kind of going around. It's a hot-button topic because we might not agree with everybody. But the woke right. When I say the woke right, what does that mean to you?
These people on the right who are acting just like those woke idiots, right? I guess it would be the counter woke, right? The counter woke people who just seem extremely woke to me, like, and not the real woke. I'm talking about this here, colonized woke, because woke has been colonized, right? Like back in, I gotta sound like an old person. Back in my day, you know, when you said you was woke, you That's right. Nah, you read the engineers report from 9/11 and you knew what was going on. That's what woke was my day. I don't know what these young whippersnappers got going on. But that's really what it was. So now these fake woke people, man, they're just, crying about skin color and they're like making it like, and I'm watching, it's crazy because it's Black History Month, something that was created by a conservative. And now you have the right, these quote unquote conservatives who are this is White History Month because of XYZ, and this white person did this hashtag White History Month. It's like, what in the hell are you doing? I really feel like those people are paid ops to make people hate the conservative party. And I'm just like, you know what? Listen, guys, if they're going to be here, fine. You can't tag those crazy people onto me, just like you can't tag and won't allow me to tag the people who want grown men to share bathrooms with little girls to your party. I'm just fair because there are a lot of people in the Democrat Party who just cannot get down with the whole shared bathroom thing. All right. And they don't, they don't claim them in their party. So if
And they
they
shouldn't
don't have
have
to
to.
claim, and they shouldn't have to. So if you shouldn't have to, and you're not going to claim them in your party, I'm not going to claim those crazy far right, neo-Nazi, stupid, woke right idiots. Like, I'm not going to claim them. If they decide to vote this way, that's fine. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But understand, we're not doing anything that's going to give you any type of power.
Okay, and that's fair. And I completely understand. I hate for it to be dismissive, right? I think that there are some valuable points that are being made where there's stuff we need to watch out for. And I hate just like, oh, they're woke. And so we, and I, once it got co-opted, I really think during COVID and the BLM, woke got completely co-opted. And, it was just, I have to follow that thing. Now with woke right and what's going on there, how do I say that? Do you feel like any of it is a backlash?
I can see it as
Sorry, go ahead.
see it as a backlash, right? It's like, they've had so much things thrown at them for so long. Now it's like they're lashing back out at what's happened. Is this was built up frustration, and now they feel like they have opportunity to release it. And I understand that, but to what point, right? To what point are you going to create this backlash, because it's not going to help you in the end. It's not going to help you if you're racing to get to the end of the race and you have to hand this baton off, and you get to this person to hand the baton off and they're like, oh yeah, you can keep running yourself. I think
Right.
that's the kind of position that we're putting ourselves in when we allow these types of things to fester and go ahead. And it's like, and you can't even have an honest conversation. It's like your feelings are so hurt now when just a few years ago it was something you were celebrating. You was something you were celebrating, and now you don't let these people piss you off so much that you forgot what you was celebrating. So were you celebrating it for real to celebrate it, or was it just for the cred at the moment?
What do you mean celebrating? Like when you say it was something you were celebrating, what do you like? Give me an example of that.
Okay, so Black History Month, right? Carter G. Woodson, a black man, conservative, was the founder of Black History Month, which started as Black History Week, to commemorate, Abraham Lincoln's historic stuff that he had done, and then just stuff that blacks had contributed into America. It went from Black History Week to being the whole month. And, you know, conservatives love to, highlight that, because in the beginning of, the Republican Party, you have great black faces. You have, you have Frederick Douglass, who's sitting right up there,
Clarence
and
Thomas, again, still alive.
still
Should be
here.
lauded as one of the most amazing black men in the history, in my opinion. I know, blah, blah, blah. Should be lauded as one of the greatest black men in American history. I mean, the man's family, they were croppers, and like, they were sharecroppers, which is like poor farmers, which are naturally poor folk as it is, and made his way to the Supreme Court, which is, arguably one of the most powerful people on the planet, but definitely in America. And he did it by staying conservative, and he didn't sell out who he was and what he believed. And and
Mhm.
anyway, he should be looked at, man. He should be looked at as, he should get his own week. We should study him. So anyway, I'm sorry. Please continue.
No,
The
you're
Black
you're you're
Ladies.
you're absolutely correct. And I suggest, if you haven't read the book, read the book. If you're not one that like reading, that's okay. Um, the documentary is available. It's called My Grandfather's Son.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I enjoyed it because I'm from Savannah, and they showed pictures and videos from places here that I never saw before.
Wow.
So, I appreciated that. And you learned a lot. And you get an understanding of where he comes from and his mindset. And you wouldn't say, oh, he's a coon and he's this and he's that. All that would change if you really, with an honest eye, watched what was going on. But it's the problem again. This is what we deal with when it comes to us being conservative or lining up with the Republican Party. And you have people who do certain things out here that, you know, outside people who aren't a part of look at and just, take it as all. My friend P. Ray and my girl Travia Truitt, she they were in a party or a space on Twitter, and it was some maggots, right? Some white maggots who were in there and just straight up disrespected those women. And I got into, yeah, man, like the video is going viral right now because there's two
Wow.
black women who went into this space where there was two white guys, and those guys just disrespected the fuck out of it. I'm talking about disrespected them. Nobody wants you here and this. That. I'm talking about just got just real nasty. And of course, I'm personally, I'm going to be honest, I don't even know if they were real MAGA people or not. This is a Twitter space. There's no faces on this thing. There's nothing. It's just people
Right.
talking, right? So, the girls or the women, they recorded it and they released it. They put the video out there.
Good. Good.
Well, now the video is being shared by Roland Martin and Shade Room and all these other places. See, we told y'all black people that those white racist Republicans don't want you in there, blah, blah, blah. Right? So now it's a deterrence because now you got all these people sharing. It's like, yeah, see, these people don't want you in there. And I'm sitting here like, I'm the third vice chairman of my county's party. They had to vote me into that position. If they didn't want me there, I wouldn't be there. Not a DEI hire. Right? I walk in like the trip in Atlanta. I have, I'm conversing and moving around with all these people from black Democrats to white Republicans. I'm just flowing. And, my white Republican friends and colleagues are giving me hugs. And my black family members are looking like, did they just really part the Red Sea and rush over the protocol and give him a hug? Like, is that really what's going on? But these are racist white people though, and I'm the same. The only thing that I've changed, this red, black, and green flag has always been here since I've started my show.
That's
and
true.
The only thing that I've changed was this Joe Gotta Go flag from my Don't Blame Me, I voted for Trump.
Because it's about time to vote for Trump again. So yes, I understand.
Joe gotta go, and guess what? Joe gotta go, and it's gonna ride for a little while, and we got another one. We got to get through the summer, and once we get through the summer, and we know who we're dealing with as far as our presidential choice for the conservatives, there's a new flag that's gonna replace Joe Gotta Go.
I can't wait. Well, yeah, hopefully it's just gonna be big MAGA, you know what I mean, all day, every day. So,
hey man, we'll see. It's ready. It's waiting. It's chilling. We'll see. But yeah, man, that's the kind of backlash it's creating.
I hear you. And here's my concern: is that to me, the woke right is far more dangerous than the woke left if it actually becomes a thing. Because look at the enforcement level the woke left did. I think. Summer of Love would be the most easy example for folks on the street, and then what they did to the J6ers would be the best political example of how when woke enforcement happens, that's what happens. Also, they're also not the people with the guns. They're not the so that legit concerns me on that level. However, to be the bad guy here, it's been a long time that white people couldn't say stuff that they could in the 80s and 90s, right? And I'm not saying it was all good, but you miss it as a comedian. That's why we were so happy when Dave Chappelle's special came out. And that's why, Dave Chappelle loved Norm Macdonald, because he said what he thought. He was like, well, this is weird. When, I was just listening to an old Norm Macdonald bit where he's like, I saw a guy at a protest. He was holding his sign that said, I'm proud of my gay son. And shout out to Norm Macdonald, not doing that. He's like, I thought, well, that was weird. Like, he didn't have to do anything. He's just gay. He's like, yeah, my son worked really hard, went to Harvard, got a degree, and he's working at NASA as an engineer. And that's okay and all, but he loves cock, and that's what I'm really proud of. In his face, in his butt, like all the cock he can take. That's what I'm proud of. Not anything he's done, no accomplishments, no overcoming obstacles to be greater. No, just the fact he loves cock is what I'm proud of.
Pause. Goodness gracious, that was he was just out there. I thought I was going ham earlier. Goodness gracious, my boy.
That was Norm Macdonald. That was not me. So, and that was
okay.
one of Dave Chappelle's best friends before he died. Also, Norm is one of those guys that he had cancer and nobody knew. Nobody but his immediate family knew, and he just chilled in his little spot in Canada. And but him, Dave and him were buds, and I love that. So. Part of that I like, you know what I mean? I think certain jokes are funny, and I got community noted for do you remember the BLM Kentucky Fried Chicken joke meme that they did?
Mm-mm.
Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if they let me pull it up. There it is. Boom. There it is. Shadow meme of KFC. Let's see here. I will pull it out. I can't get the whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
I love you, Jay Pylon. We love you. We can't wait. Friday night. Pew, 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 pew. What's brave about taking a dick in the eye? I don't know. I don't know either. Anyway, this is okay, so to me this is hilarious right here. I see you and I stand with you, Black History Month. See that? That's hilarious to me. You know what I'm saying? That is hilarious. What an odd thing to say, right? Bart Simpson, what an odd thing to say. I see you and I stand with you, Black History Month. It's fried chicken.
I know. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. KFC.
So,
wow.
anyway,
I'm going
I
to
want to laugh at that.
Because you stand with me, KFC, I'm gonna go get me a KFC chicken pot pie tomorrow.
Everybody knows Popeyes is better, but we'll let it slide. You know what I'm saying?
Popeyes is better. Popeyes is better. You know what? Guess what? I ain't even gonna get a KFC pot pie. You know what I'm gonna get?
What?
You know what I'm gonna get?
I'm
gonna get a famous bowl.
A famous bowl.
I'm gonna get a famous bowl.
So that and I think that it's important. Here's the funny part, and I feel like I'm in an odd place to see this. I think Jay Pylon is in a place to see this as well, but it's one of those, now that it's happening to us, right? You know the old saying, was that real? I don't know. Fuego in the building. Yeah. So let's anyway, so yeah, man, that's cash money right there. So that's awesome. Let's see here. Let's see if I can open that. Yeah, there it is. I do love the Bart Simpson. What an odd thing to say. That's me most of my life. I'm like, wait, they're just treating people like that? I don't understand. So anyway, yeah, man, that's what it is right there. And to me, it's hilarious, right? To me, it's hilarious. It just goes to show the what is it? The lack of understanding. So anyway, But to me, that's hilarious on a certain level. It just is. So I'm glad we can laugh at that stuff again. Now, if quote unquote the woke right is the death of the woke left or the inability to make fun of each other, because I've said this before. I said this on Grift Report, and that is, man, I miss comedy. Look at those old roasts, man. They all go in on each other hard for whatever reason. You know, it's Patrice O'Neill, who actually died, you know, from not being healthy, but they went on and on about his heart disease and how he was going to die of a heart attack. And he laughed, right? So there's that. Now, as far as what I'm finding now is almost like race fights, which is pretty weird. And that's my concern. We don't have to go woke. Let's go cool. Right? And how do I say this right? We need to respect each other to the point that we can clown each other. That's a
Right.
crazy thing to say, but if you don't understand it, in comedy, a roast is the highest form of an honor. You know, you can get these cheesy awards that the industry hands out. Carlin was one of the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, Pryor, I mean, to me, comedy's a lot like hip hop. If you truly love it, well, then you know it ain't white people. I mean, they do an okay job, some of them, and a far more higher ratio of decent white comedians, but than white hip hop artists. So, but anyway, except for, you know, the best white hip hop artist of all time, Ben Shapiro. I mean, he's number one on iTunes.
Number one on freaking iTunes. Jesus.
So I think I think he's a perfect example of woke right. I think he's the perfect example of, especially the lyrics in that song. I think he's the perfect example of them trying to go, other cultures are bad or stupid, which is the same thing that the woke did. And that makes sense. I think that instead of being woke, instead of just dismissing people, have a sense of humor about it. The thing that we did that made the woke that kind of ended that thing or turned the culture around was making fun of them, the memes, you know, like, wow, these people are dumb, they're ignorant. The KFC stuff, just like that, you know, it's like, this is silly. It's what we need to do to the woke right too. The problem is, I find when the left goes after somebody, they go after him with such hate and anger. Who controls iTunes? Shapiro's people. The redacted, yes, LS, the redacted.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you hang around excuse me. I know you hang around a lot of folks of a lot of different races, colors, and creeds. I know you hang around a lot of you know, white folks that are probably not ashamed to be white, not white apologists. They don't suffer from any white guilt. And I also know you hang out and spend time with some very pro and strong, proud black folks who are very pro black rights and things. And you're able to exist in both of those spaces. And it seems like right now, and I feel like it's because it's the last thing they have, and they're always going to go for the guttural bottom of the basement. And right now, they're just going back to race. You know what I mean? They're like, let's get white people mad at black people. Maybe we can have another summer of love, but really get white people mad and really get black people mad. And you know, like I said, meanwhile, Latinos are taking the whole thing over. But we're going to turn around and have to learn Spanish to, you know, go to 7-Eleven or bank. But I wanted your thoughts on that, man, because you exist in both spaces in a way that most people simply don't. You know, so you know what are your thoughts on that? How can we be aware of it, and what's a better way to deal with it?
The only way to truly be aware of it is to open your eyes. You know what I'm saying? And open your eyes and open your heart, use your mind, and truly just travel it accordingly. They're going to be here. They're going to be around. The grifters are going to grift. It's about being true, being authentic, and creating the channels that you can to bring the people who respect you together to have those conversations in order to build properly. And then keeping those people at bay as much as you can. They're the ones with the loudest soapbox. You know, they're the ones with the traffic being pushed towards them. So they're going to do the grifty things. They're going to do the things that are going to get them clicks, that are going to get them streams. So with that being said, you know, you just, you know, like to hold them accordingly. as far as being in both spaces and dealing with it, it's definitely interesting, especially, you're in one space and you got the people who are pushing the Ben Shapiro, Tom McDonald songs. And then you have the people who are like, man, that song's garbage. What the hell is that? Who they talking to? Why they trying me like that? You have the why don't all black people think like X? And then you have the black people who are like, why do they want us all to think the same? Or we're supposed to be a monolith? I thought they're the same people who said black people aren't a monolith because there are Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum's over there, and they're not Democrats. So obviously they're not a monolith because they're saying we're not a monolith. But now they want us to monolithically move with those people. It just doesn't make sense, right? You have to be able to handle those conversations, to be able to navigate those conversations, to be able to show that you are just not some pet to their game, to just be out here espousing their rhetoric and the things that they want you to say. You have to be a free thinking, free flowing, free moving person. Have your foundation of the knowledge of things that study what you want to know, show thyself approved, and move forward.
That's fair. Absolutely. Let's see here. Troublemaker Jonas dropping in. Ben is not right. Just a Zionist looking for a new location for Americans to die. Woo. That's interesting. So, quick question. What's the play with Iraq and Iran, do you think? What's the larger play here? Where's the benefit?
War. War, baby. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, clearly it's war, but like, what's the why? Okay, first of all, I don't understand what's good for us or even the deep state right now if we are a great place to mine cash, and we are the country, right? Like, we're globalists right now, right? We decide what, we're on that level thinking right now. So why do we want to put America into we're flooding immigrants in, we're breaking the people, we're breaking the backs and the will of the people of the strongest, for lack of a better term, fuck you country in the world, right? Where you're not going to take us over. We were built on not being taken. You know what I mean? Like, our whole thing is, we are independent and we're free comparatively. So our, with the taxes, with, the lack of actual jobs, which is something that you got into that please remind me before we drop to talk to you about real quick. But, with all of that, they're already breaking our backs. We don't have the military. We don't have the reserves, the oil, the weapons, we've shipped so much stuff to Ukraine, and then we played around nickel and diamond at all the, at all these other bases in the world that we're in, and we nickel and dime. We're not replenishing that stuff because we're spending billions of dollars on trying to make electric tanks. Because we see how electric cars work in the winter. Yeah, right. No. I can't wait till we have electric tanks in Russia, and they're laughing while they're just using drones to blow us up in some warm bunker somewhere. Anyway, so I feel like we're pretty beat unless the guy comes in, unless some real strong leader comes in. At this point, it's got to be Trump. Unless a strong leader comes in, puts us back in a better financial situation, gets us out of needless wars. I don't understand the play here unless it is to the long game. The Kufi hat game is send the immigrants to war, make them feel like it is their country, bend them to the will of the deep state, and basically make us like, apartheidish, you know what I mean? Caste system, low level in our own country. To me, that's the only play, because these people will now have what you bleed for, you love, right? So I don't care where I'm from. If I come to this country and they put a gun in my hand and I go overseas and bleed for it, I'll love it. But I'll love it the way that they're telling me to love it, and the way that the people in power want me to love it. And I'll do what they say, and I'll defend that in the same way we do because of how we were brought up. Does that make sense in a way?
It makes sense per how we were raised and how we were brought up. All right. It doesn't make sense for the now. Okay. And I say that for, you have a lot of people who think like, the girl who mouth with the mouth, Ilhan Omar, right?
with the mouth.
With the mouth, right? She got the mouth almighty. So
I got into
Ilhan,
it, man. Somebody was actually defending her on Instagram. I was like, "Are you kidding?" So sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
she doesn't even she doesn't even recognize our president as our president. She calls the Somalian president our president. You know, and that was
Wow.
recently. She did that over here. You know, you have those people who they have their allegiance to where they're from, and even though they're here, they don't care. This is just a means. This is just a means to live at the moment, but their allegiance and their love is with their home, with their nation of origin. So we have to be, you know, we have to be aware of that, or they're going to execute Order 66 on our asses.
Wow. So Kamala is and Willie Brown. Let's see here. Balkanization. Jonas says, do search for balkanization of America and look at one result. And he's like, Ben is Mossad. He never served in IDF, but he is allowed to enter. Epstein was Mossad as well. Mike, it is the Oded Winona plan and balkanize America. Okay, so I'd like to talk about balkanization of America because I know your boy Royce White is for that.
Mhm.
And I've heard of that thrown around a couple of times, and it's something that I'd like to talk about pros and cons. Do search of balkanization of America and look at a result. Kofi, more like Yamaka, no cap. Boom, LS in the building. Oh, I needed some comedy. Yes. You can tell it's a little low end, man. We've had a week. We've both been busy, but we're trying. Odedian plan and Mackinder Heartland theory. Yes. Kamala, Willie Brown. You know, I mean, I feel like Kamala probably could put it together back in the day. I'm just saying it's how she got to where she got to. You know what I mean? There's a lot throwing it. There's only so few throwing it well. You know,
Hey man,
I mean?
Montel Williams enjoyed it, and their shared girlfriends. So
Yeah. Before I get off this topic, because I want to dig into balkanization just a little bit more before we get out of here. But before I do, something you really great you talked about on Friday Night Flights every Friday night, protocol on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, wherever finer podcasts are heard. The point is, you talked about the job numbers, and it's something that I see that you've been into lately. And I'd love to drop on that. And something that I hear not a lot of people talking about with that is while those numbers are clearly just not true on levels, we're in a gig economy now. Okay.
Mhm.
So you only get unemployment for 2 years, right? And then once you no longer get that, you're no longer counted as quote unquote unemployed. So you don't
Mhm.
count. So a bunch of people just slide out of the numbers. So, hey, it's the greatest economy we ever had because people who were unemployed during COVID never got a job. We're not responsible. Now they're homeless or starving. Who knows where? But the cool thing is they're not counted. So now we have higher job numbers just because there are less people, quote unquote, unemployed because we're not counting them. Now, past that, so there are a lot of people that are just not counted anymore, just the way they did inflation or recession. They changed the term of recession, right? Specifically, they changed the term of what recession means. So we weren't in one, and then we avoided one, but we're in a recession. Same thing here. Saying that unemployment numbers are high because you're kicking people who are no longer eligible for unemployment benefits off the rolls doesn't mean unemployment is low. Then past that, it's a gig economy, right? It's not like they're good jobs. It's not a basic job where you can go and work hard, maybe build a side business because you've got 10 extra grand a year. And you know what I mean? And you can put $5,000 into that. You can't go work and make wood stuff in your garage. People are living, and in fact, it'll come out shortly, but I just did an interview. I just produced a show where a very successful mortgage guy who, like Mortgage Solutions company where like they just very very large, lots of money situation going on there. This guy was being interviewed by the host of the show I produce, and he said people are going to start having to go back to multi-unit dwellings where you have two families in one home and that kind of thing, and it has to do with the amount of inventory and the cost of inventory and the fact that the fact that inventory is going up, meaning more houses are available, but it's not really affecting the cost of it. And then as interest rates go down, the cost of the house goes up. So it's not, definitely wasn't my part there to say anything, and I wasn't gonna. But my thought was just, who wants to do that? You know what I mean? Who wants to go, I'm going to work really, really hard so I can live with my other, you know what I mean? I can live with my mom and my dad until they die. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not a great economy. And we're having to
Mhm.
change the way we live because of the cost of homes. Why? Why? And this is a good economy? So anyway, people are not unemployed because they're working 2 and 3 jobs. They drive for Uber, and then they cash out of driving for Uber, and then they go stalk at Walmart for 6 hours. They drive for
Mhm.
Uber for 6 hours. And so no, they're not unemployed, but God, they wish they were. You know what I mean? Heck, I could be
Right.
unemployed. I know if as long as my light bill is on, and maybe I got to eat from the Dollar Tree versus Whole Foods, I can put some stuff together. I can find a job. But that's not even an option. So when they say these unemployment numbers are low, don't believe the hype. My man says balkanization of America should return USCG official policy, which is in U.S. Armed Forces. Real interesting to think about. I agree. Let's see here. Jonah, and I'm referring to the Google results as the #1 search engine. Absolutely. And we'll get right on that. I just wanted to talk about that jobs thing, and I wanted to get Pro to talk about it a little bit too. I don't know what you're watching, but I wish you'd pay attention to your show. And sorry. Super common in the Bay Area, multiple different family groups living in one house or property. Yeah, you know, in Hawaii, they do that because of the cost, and it is a little bit more a tradition. But good Lord, you literally have to have $1 million to get a basic house in Hawaii. The banking elite want the feudal state because they are in power and we are all slaves. I can tell you there's a difference, man. There is that difference, you know, when you hang out with those wealthy cats. And I don't just mean cats that are good. You know what I mean? I can afford my home. Maybe I got a rental house. Maybe I got a truck and a car. You know what I mean? Whatever. But I'm talking those cats that are on that next level. It's a different game, man. They don't look at it the same. They just don't. And
Mhm.
and it's us and them, and I can promise you a lot of guys that are running very large multi-million-dollar companies that are telling you you're going to have to shack up with your mom and dad or your brother and his wife and their family. They're not thinking about doing that themselves. I can promise you that. If it was, oh, I have to do that, they're like, well, let me change these laws and rules. I don't want to live like that, you know. So that's, you know, something there. The banking elite want a feudal state. Yeah. So, you know, and I also understand because then how do you, I don't know, man, because then you roll over into socialism on some level, right? Hit that thumbs up. Jay Pylon is correct. Hit that thumbs up for protocol. Pew, 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 pew. So how do you deal with that, right? Like, what do you do to kind of put a leash on unfettered capitalism that is infected with wokeness on both sides?
Build a parallel. Don't deal
Parallel
with them.
economy. Yep.
You build a parallel economy. You don't deal with them, and you let them crash and burn. As long as we shop, as long as we, you know, pay attention and feed in, they're going to keep rolling. So we stop them. We cut it off at the head.
Kind of like Bud Light. Is that
Yeah.
what you're thinking? We literally changed their entire marketing plan, basically.
Pretty much. But they knew that was dead in the water. They just didn't know how bad it was going to be. But they knew it was
Right.
bad, and they raked in money from them. They got DEI money. They got all kinds of grants and all kinds of breaks for doing that, you know? So, hey, we tried, didn't work as a business practice. We're going on to other things now. We're going back to what's tried and true. And that's capitalism, you know what I'm saying? They capitalized off of something that was there. So I don't know. You know that numbers are going down, period. You know, on top of what you were saying, there are a lot of people who work who make 6 figures a year, and they're still living paycheck to paycheck.
Struggling, exactly.
Struggling, you know, paying house payments, car insurance, kids, like they're struggling, 6-figure jobs. So we have to get better with our management and our usage of our resources. We have to be more deliberate, more educated, more understanding in the moves that we make. We need to stop moving on impulse and off of emotion, and we need to truly sit down and weigh the option of these things. I want to talk about that's something that I want to talk about sometime this week, leading into, you know, Valentine's Day. You know, there's a lot of people who are, you know, in relationships. Relationships may be rocky. They don't know if it is or isn't going to end. And, you know, we're going into Valentine's Day, and You know, the girl can be with you February 14th and February 15th. She could say, hey, you know what? This just isn't working. And your $400-500, you know, gone. You know what I'm saying? You bought this. It just wasn't a proper investment, thinking that you were doing the right thing, you know. So, you know, it's things like that when we move in our everyday life. Like, we have to be deliberate in what we do. Is it smart to spend this $200, $300, $400 here when we know it's essentially useless, because that $60 box of candy is now going to be $10 or $7 on February 15th, you know?
Well, yeah, man. And if I feel like you have to have a government holiday to express your love to your woman, you're probably a shit mate anyway. You know
Probably
what
a
I
shit
mean?
made anyway. Yep.
Also, once you get deep in a relationship and it's real and you're in a real marriage and you're sharing a real space and real resources and it's real for y'all out there, something like I'll be honest, something like, just hey, I'm gonna do the load of laundry and I'm gonna put the clothes away.
Mhm.
Stuff that we got to do every day. Like, one of my favorite things to do is to try to make going to the grocery store fun. You know what I mean? My nickname is Dollar Treesus, and that's because I have fun. I took my wife to Dollar Tree on Christmas Eve. She's like, "Why would you want to do that?" I'm like, "Because it's fun and it's a mad dash." And it's like, "Oh, did
Mhm.
we forget this? Did we forget that? Let's get this. So somebody will love this." Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, it doesn't matter. We can spend $60 and we'll get piles of stuff for folks, little candies or whatever. But I try to make it fun. Right, because there are things in life that are legitimately not fun, and I think it's important to have fun with those things. Amy says facts. Yeah, I'm a little crazy when it comes to that stuff. So I think it's about just showing love to the other person, man, and it's one of those. I think it's a real test. I'll do something super chill on Valentine's. Also, I'm a hell of a cook, right? So it's one of those where I just saw that joke from Jonah. I'm a hell of a cook. One of the best things I can do, because honestly, we can go and drop 100, 120 per meal, and I know I saw that. We can go and drop 100, 120 per meal, and I can cook better for you. I can
Right.
literally go to the store and cook better for you. No diggity. You don't believe me? Just watch. Y'all just watch. So, but anyway, I'm gonna cook for y'all. So anyway, let's get back to it. LS. Dems are saying that inflation is going down. Yes, but people's bank accounts, and that also has to do with cost of goods going up when inflation does go down. They're right on it because because everybody knows the oil situation is a big joke. That's the whole
Mhm.
problem, I think, in that whole thing. Troublemaker Jonah, communism is the bankers. Marx was the Rothschilds. Rockefeller, oh man, this is a good one, man. We had to screenshot this one. Marx was the Rothschilds. Rockefeller openly admits to internationalism, which is communism. Agreed. The IMF, the WEF, all those same mofos. LS says Dana White took their transgender money. That money was dressed with makeup in a pretty frilly dress with a dick. That's what that money looked like. One of many reasons not to like Dana White. LS, I hear you, and I think we've had this conversation. Let me tell you, my brother, why I disagree, because it is called a course correction. People make mistakes. Bud made a mistake. They were like, holy crap, we made a huge mistake that cost a lot of money to a lot of people. We had to lay off good, hardworking people, right? And we completely screwed the pooch on this one. How do we get it back? How do we, instead of completely shutting down, show that is not in line with our values? Well, what's the one sporting event on the planet that has Trump walk out to the main events? What's the one sporting event on the planet that is decidedly, as when Dana White was just interviewed and they were like, Sean Strickland said these offensive things against gay people. We know you let your fighters have a long leash. How do you feel? He's like, there's no leash, brother. Free speech. I let my fighters think and say whatever they want. I am not responsible for that. So he took their money in the same way that, I'll be honest, if some woke, okay, so say Peloton, right? They went woke and they told Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan and Dana White they wouldn't work with them. And Dana White was like, screw Peloton. They're out of our gyms for here on out. Now, if Peloton came to me and said, we were wrong and we are going broke, but clearly you and Protocol have a great show, and we want to show that we're down to put money behind your cause and pull all of our money out of that cause, we'd have a meeting about it, depending on the amount. You know what I'm saying? But we'd have a meeting about it because people should be allowed to change. People should be allowed to course correct. And money is money, and it makes the world go round. And most large corporations, event places are dependent upon sponsors. They really are. And if Bud Light knocked on my door right now and said, we'll give you $100 million and we don't want any transgenders ever representing us again, just like they did Shane Gillis, a comedian guy who got canceled. He got canceled for making fun of Asian folks. He got hired for SNL, got fired before he ever appeared on SNL because somebody dug up some old tweets where he was making fun of Asian folks. Then Joe Rogan found him, was like, you're hilarious. And now Bud Light's giving him a contract because they're doing everything they can to show that they know they made a mistake and they're putting their money where their mouth is. So right now I respect them for that, and I understand why Dana White did what he did.
Hey, man, you
LS.
got to get the money.
They are getting it back. Budweiser is finished. Very possibly. I don't disagree. It might have been a mistake that they can't come back from. I don't disagree with you, man. I still appreciate what they are doing, though. So I really, I do. I'm always gonna let you talk, dog. I think they might be done. I really do. Or they're gonna have to change their business model, be a smaller brewery. But I appreciate the fact they're putting their money where their mouth is. Before we get to that one, we got some good Jonah hits here too. Jonah, February 15th gave the world to me. All right, I love it.
Oh, they gave the
Maybe-
world him. That's his birthday, February the 15th.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's love and then there's Jonah. Bam. You know what I'm saying? Following up. Love
Boom,
for
boom.
the people is why Jonah does what he does. Facts, Amy says when I was on the rant. Troublemaker Jonah. I never bought a VD gift once, but gave them all VD. Ha ha. Them packets.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
He had them packets, bro. He had them packets.
Jonah around here running around like.
Amy says 100. My man LS, we did skip because we were having that conversation. And, if I'm going to have a conversation with him, I'm going to make sure he gets heard. My man Troublemaker says, yeah, but those are government wants that they were asking the questions. Even if they are not CBC, they have been bailed out by Justine Castro's government. Fair enough. Government bailouts is a whole nother thing that's a little concerning there. So, yeah, you know what I mean? She feels, all right. I think she's probably texting somebody else.
Singing Shania Twain.
Yeah. I feel like a woman. Yeehaw. Anyway. But yeah, man, I think we're seeing a change. I think a lot of corporations that were classically for the woke, get woke, go broke. And that's a question I wanted to ask you. As we know and as we've seen, get woke, go broke happens. It just does. The Dungeons and Dragons franchise is now up for sale. That is one of those, like forever, you could put out Dungeons and Dragons, anything, and make $1 million, $2 million. Whether you're a fan of that stuff or not, you understand it's what they call an IP, right? So it is a value brand that you pretty much could find some decent artists that grew up as fans, throw them 50, 60 grand a year, and you could make $2-3 million easy a year, probably more. Amy says, I feel like any quality girl would rather have grocery or rent money than an expensive dinner. Babe, you're showing how poor we are. Shh. Most people don't have to choose, babe. That's the thing. Most people don't got to choose. Give her a massage. She's stressed out. I wonder who that's for. And then finally, PS Protocol, did you see my tweet I shared because even the lawyer I brought up seemed unaware?
Yeah, I saw your tweet, bro. So I'm gonna dig into your tweets a little while. I was on serious daddy duty today.
Yep, when Wall Street gets bailed out, Main Street gets effed. You are right, LS. So talk to me about your concern, if you have any at all, about get woke, go broke on the right-hand side now.
Man, I ain't even worried about them fools. You know what I'm saying? I got my own thing. I got word in the hood. I'm trying to get my people on point, trying to get my allies on point. If that's the stuff, then it's one thing I don't do. I don't get into certain folk business. You know what I'm saying? And as long as they keep me out their business, they can stay their behinds over there. That Ben Shapiro, Tom McDonald, they actually inserted me in their business when they started talking about, you know what I'm saying, hip hop and rap music in a hip hop rap song. All right. So being that I'm a hip hop DJ and this is where I come from, I'm going to speak up on it. Outside of that, it is what it is. Leave us alone. Y'all, it definitely hurts when you say stupid things and we have to answer questions, but I'm trying to get those people who are leaving the Democrat Party in droves. I'm trying to at least get them to understand policy and power so we can get up in these precincts and within these county level parties and actually make some true changes happen in our community. So no, I ain't worried about them fools. I got my own things to worry about.
Right. And that's fair. And you definitely and you express some frustration. Do you think hip hop music should not be criticized by Ben Shapiro, Tom McDonald? Who can criticize it? Period.
No.
And because look, I think that hip hop needs to be criticized, especially current state.
I mean,
You know what I
and
mean? It's
I-
a
and I
mess
think
to me
that
right now.
I think that people who truly participate in it should criticize it, right? So if Ben Shapiro, if you want to criticize hip hop and you criticize those no cap people, right? That control the hip hop game, those ones who control the office spaces, and you tell them what they're doing and forcing black people into making those types of songs because that's what they do. Oh man, yeah, you gotta, man. If it don't bleed, it don't lead. So you got to put some gunshots in it. You know what I'm saying? You got to do this and this. We can invest into that. Yeah. We can do that. Like, you criticize those people if you want to criticize. Don't criticize someone who you don't have a conversation with. Don't criticize someone who you don't know anything about. White Mike, you can criticize it. Your little white ass is right up out of that situation. You know what I'm saying? So you have earned a right to say, hey man, this isn't it. I remember when there was this music. You let us criticize it. Us who have something, is a dog in the fight. When you don't have a dog in a fight and you're criticizing it, I don't listen to hip hop. Okay, cool. Don't tell us what hip hop is then. Don't tell us how there's a problem. I would rather you say, hey, I did listen to hip hop and I have a love and admiration for hip hop. But unfortunately, the things that I hear coming out of hip hop right now just isn't. This isn't hip hop. This is garbage. This is some paid minstrel show, right? Okay, cool.
Well, more so, yeah, that too. To me, it's about the kids, bro. Hip hop was so influential to between say 13 and 23. Even God, I'm ashamed to admit, maybe even 25.
I'd say
hip-hop
25. Go ahead.
If you dropped the CD, because we had CDs back then. But you know what I mean? If I had a blunt and, an Eminem CD, there was no stopping me. In my Toyota Tercel, you couldn't stop me. Hip-hop was so influential on how I saw the world, especially when I could connect to it, right? And there was somebody that represented me in that space, and then, was basically approved by the ones, by your Dre's and stuff. So, but even past that, I loved hip hop for that reason. I mean, Wu-Tang and the idea that Misfits could be the bad mofos and all of that stuff. So, and today, man, I don't see a whole lot of positive hip hop coming out. And I don't see a lot of strong. I don't even see a lot of good. It's just not good, right? I'm not insulting. But how Ben Shapiro and how redacted is it that you're going to criticize it? You're not going to sit there in your own lane and criticize to people and you're going to put a quality piece together saying hip hop used to be this and it was better and it was, a positive thing overall for a community via industry and art form. How are you going to not do that? But you're literally going to make a rap song and brag about making all the money you're making, destroying rap. I mean, how redacted? Isn't that just that game? I mean, I'm going to make a little money off it as I say it's not a good thing. Stop. You're, and once again, there's the art form and then there's the folks that create the art form. And those are different things a lot of the time, right? Like you said, a lot of these dudes are just playing gangster. They're not real gangster. And that's fine. Whatever. Get your money. I like actors. You know what I mean? Tom Cruise probably never really fired a gun in his whole life, but I like Maverick, so rock on. But the thing about the whole degrading the people and it not being a talent and an art form, hip hop could literally get you out of the hood. If nothing else, it taught you to read, it taught you cadence, it taught you to speak, it taught you public speaking skills. I know for a fact personally people who are teachers in high schools because they were hip hop dudes. You know what I mean? And they were like, it killed. I wasn't afraid to go up in front of people and think off the dome and figure out how to, you know what I mean, entertain and get people's attention. And that's why I think it's so important versus a Ben Shapiro who's gonna cash in, gotta cash in. And his whole thing is, I'm cashing in on it. That's his whole thing. There's a thing that I consider to be disturbing, disgusting, and degenerate, and I'm about to cash in on it. And it's like, come on, man. So I absolutely see that. Let's see here. Amy says, everybody poor now. You're a man of the people. Yes, I am, and I always will be. Dollar Treesus. Troublemaker says, Shania Twain and Nickelback become famous because we have a mandatory Canadian content law. So shit musicians get propped up. And yeah, they are called sunshine laws. On that link, open record. I agree with that. In addition to that, man, we were kind of talking a little bit about that on Wednesday night. And that's the thing about the internet changing the industry, and they're losing propaganda power, right? If they were winning, the propaganda wouldn't be necessary. The banning wouldn't be necessary. The no, you ate all the cookies, as Tucker said earlier, wouldn't be necessary. It's because we're winning. And how are we winning? Because it's no longer that we all turn on our TV and our radio, and every DJ and every VJ on MTV is going, this is the person. This is the best person in the world that does this. And we tell you this is the best person. Now you go buy concert tickets and watch their videos and buy their records. It's not like that. I can go on the internet. I can find some amazing local guys that, because of Facebook, YouTube, X, you know what I mean, SoundCloud, I can find some amazing guys and support them. As you know, with PT Pod, it's exactly what I try to do, is support amazing local musicians, regional guys that are going to get there or on their way there, but they're doing the work and they're amazingly talented. So check that out when you get a chance. Let's see here. My man, LS says, woke right equals Nimrata. Finish the job. Wipe him off the map. Y'all know Shapiro will never criticize his own people. Exactly. And that's another thing there. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. You got to be able to look at everything from a third-person point of view and understand, I'm looking through these eyes and this skin and this socioeconomic situation I came up in. But I also have to understand that while I may be naturally tribalistically protective of my quote-unquote people, what my people actually are the people that are going to stand 10 toes with me when the shit goes down. And unfortunately, they're probably not a lot of them going to look like me. So that's something to remember. And you know, hoarder's going to hoard. You know what I mean? And if you're very wealthy, yeah, so there is that. My man says, send Ben after Jerry Heller. Speaking of which, you remember the Jerry Heller, the Mr. Buster, where you at? King Scrap with the lick, so I know you got your own gat. That's some old school Dre. That was Jerry Heller in that video. Speaking of which was on BET just this week. Wow, still? Ice Cube denies taking part in secret meeting that changed hip-hop. Oh, my God. That's a whole nother hour. We're trying to be tight here. We're already a little over, so we're trying to wrap this. But this. I must. Thank you, Jonah. That's important. Shout out to Jonah. LS, Outcast, Tribe, Farside, UGK, 8-Ball, MJG. Absolutely, man. I miss Outcast. And I'm so glad that even though it's a flute record, I'm glad that Andre was able to make his way out of that industry without getting shot or losing his mind like a lot of folks do. You know. And that's not just hip-hop. That's rock and roll, too. You know what I mean? Who's making money off the dead rappers? Who's making money off the dead rock stars? Think about that for a second, right? Because there's a lot of them. A weird amount of dead rappers and rock stars. An odd amount. So, yeah. Troublemaker Jonah. And Cube is accurate. He never attended that secret meeting. There was nothing all secret to the artists, record labels, or creative intelligence agency and Central Artist CAA. Exactly, yeah. Did you know Joe Biden's a CAA client, oddly enough?
Really?
And so is Kamala. Yeah.
Really?
So
interesting.
Getting fucked up by a white boy with no Vaseline. Yeah, he can't have meat and cheese on the same plate, yo. So that's not, we don't claim. We got enough problems without claiming, the redacted. Come on. So
got enough problems.
Pro, we are about to have a hell of a week, and I'm excited. I know you're excited. Tell them what you got going on and where they can find you.
All right, so this week, this week I got a lot of work. I'll be doing some demo prep work. That's happening. Also, of course, we got Friday Night Flights every Friday night, 8 p.m. Going live on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. If you guys don't follow me at Protocol at Seaport Pro on X, Protocol everywhere else, or in Pro Reacher Adams on Facebook. I suggest that you go ahead and start following your boy. Outside of that, let's see what else we got going on. There's some basketball. There's some Savannah State basketball action this week. Let's see. Actually, tomorrow is Armed Forces Night. It's the Orange Out game, and they're going to be playing Allen University. Let's see. Saturday. Well, I got a meeting. I had a ZIC board meeting on Saturday, and I'm preparing to take my butt right back up to Atlanta on the 24th, possibly the 22nd as well. The 22nd and the 24th. So I got that. I'm also making moves on the property, trying to get the studio built. So yeah, man, there's a lot of things going on right now, man. There's a lot of moves. So
Getting prepped to be the official DJ for the Grifties.
that's right. Grifties is coming up, baby. March 9th. Make sure you guys get your tickets now, man. We still have a few general admission tickets left, but not many at all. So please, if you haven't already gotten your ticket, get your ticket. It's going down. Also, VIP is sold out, but we have another VIP opportunity for you going down on Friday the 8th. Sam Tripoli is performing, correct? On the day
Absolutely.
before.
He'll also be a presenter at the awards. Cannon, huge fan. HJ, huge fan. Yeah.
We're going to be there, man. Whole Hotep Nation going to be in the building. So y'all make sure you guys get your VIP tickets for the night before event. Make sure you get your tickets if you haven't already for the award show. And we're going to have us a dang on good time.
Going to be a party plus two. We just got a lot of the writing finished up, man. We have a great writing team. Stuff is hilarious and cracking. We officially got Lila Hart on the team, not only writing, but she's going to be presenting.
Okay.
Super excited about that, man. Feels so far away because we have so much to do, man. Want everybody, if you're just a personal fan, if you want to know about real estate, the real estate, huge fan. Yes, huge. It's going to be huge. I'm so working on my Trump. I'm working on my Trump. What you got to do is you got to use the nasal. Then you've got to take your time. Then you've got to be very confident because you are very confident. So I'm working on it. I'm
just went from Don Jr. into like a little bit of Trump. It's like, oh, he's almost there.
I like Junior. Junior's straight ahead. Junior's just like, these bastards are screwing the world up. And I would use rougher language, but I'm a successful businessman. But what are they doing to us? And the way they treated my father is reprehensible. So I'm like, you go, Junes. I'm looking at my triggered book right there. I'm going to get that signed this year, I think. I think we're going to bump into him on the trail. I'll be like, man, sign this book, dog. So anyway, if you're a fan, you want to know more about real estate, remodeling homes, that kind of stuff, man, that is real value. That's one of the reasons I'm very excited to be producing the Racing Realtor with Gabe's podcast, because land and what you can do on that land, that is real money. That is how you step up. That is how you change your life. I personally know many people. Well, I know at least 4 personal friends that were just like me and you, everyday working stiffs, trying to make it happen, y'all. And because they got into real estate and made the right moves in real estate, they were able to break out of that cycle. And now they have savings and small business stuff they have going on. And that's why I'm producing this show, because Gabe is one of the best. He's a people's man. So check that show out. We're dropping tomorrow night. And then, of course, Tuesday night is PT Pod. Wednesday night is quick drop in with my man. And then Friday, I'm so looking forward to Friday, bro. You have no idea. Friday is like podcast Christmas for me, right?
Yes.
It's since our New Year's Eve stream, I'm the most excited to, hang around, just have a good time, because we deal with such heavy stuff. And the whole point is to show people, yeah, we can be as deep or deeper than anyone else. We understand these things. We can fight the good fight. But you know what? We're also men who need to come together and have a good time, not take everything so seriously. Let people know friendship makes bonds, builds relationships, builds trust. And when it all goes down, I want a man on my right-hand side I can trust. So with that being said, guys, it's Seaport Pro. Follow him. Protocol on your Rumble. And I am FW Mike on X. That's really all you need to know about that. And then, of course, simple PT Pod, Instagram, Rumble. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Anything else before they go?
Nah, man, y'all just make sure y'all get y'all some good rest up, and have an amazing week. And we will see you at different points of the week, different streams of the week. And definitely Friday, man, we going to smack somebody today.
There's 5 fingers and there's faces and they talking. We got to give a quick shout out to Jonah, quick shout out to LS, quick shout out to Amy, quick shout out to Jay Pylon, quick shout out to Fuego in the building.
Life, what up?
Haram Life, what up? Man, you guys are wonderful people. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you on Friday night. Good night. Be easy, fellas. Hell yeah.